So we're here having a conversation. So what was the most intellectually stimulating part of the last session for you, Angel?
I love the fact that he called each and every one of us to examine, first and foremost, our faith.
Yeah.
But then also for Christians, are we taking this message to everybody because
Because the gospel is what saves, yeah.
everybody needs to hear it. And
What's up, Sarah?
I like the most. The thing I liked the most was that he said, there. Man, I can't put it into the same exact words as he said it. But it was like the only thing, we say, there's nothing holding people back from salvation. Like something.
Oh yeah, there's no human exception, or there's no human situation that will mean that you can't be saved.
Unless you don't hear the gospel.
Unless you don't hear God, that's the only one.
Yes, and that was like.
Which is why missions is so important and why we're even here in the first place. So.
Yeah, so that was.
Yeah, I loved his point about.
We gotta wait. It's me.
It's Vicky! And
Get some water.
Hannah!
Hi. I just love being on camera.
It was really blurry.
I zoomed in and I knew a
You
lot.
could barely, it was blurry.
That's fine with me.
I zoomed in super close.
Hair's also busy.
I really liked his point about the thing that sends you to hell is the gospel, because I think people constantly forget about that. Because if that was true, we would just never send missionaries at all.
Yeah.
We would build walls around other people groups so that they would never hear the gospel, because then they would never have the opportunity to reject Christ.
Yeah. Why would you send missionaries? It would be the most pointless thing.
It would be horrible.
Yeah.
It would be dooming them. Some of them, at least. Yeah, right.
You would never preach the gospel.
Exactly.
Only at church would you ever talk about Jesus.
Yeah. And again, it's just why even have church in the first place? If none of us should just ever hear about Jesus, we should just immediately just try to cut off church from ever happening.
Yeah. The more we get together, the more we talk about it, the more people might hear, the more people are condemned to hell.
What was your favorite part, Connor?
Of today?
The last session.
The last session.
The last session?
What were your thoughts about it?
I don't know. I wrote down a lot of stuff. I don't know. I've pretty much just been filtering everything through what we're going to talk about for the evangelism ministry, and just kind of writing down short speech sections. Just being this is what I would want to say. I think one of the main things that I wrote down was that if God controls the will, then He also controls the means, and just being the emphasis on if God's in control, then that should give us the confidence to go rather than the comfort to stay.
Honestly, that's something that it's true, what he said. If God wasn't in control of, like you said, the means and salvation itself, then it would be we would have no hope.
Right.
It would kind of be very discouraging.
Right. We would have as much hope as a Catholic.
Exactly.
We will run around trying to get people to do a bunch of things, and then hopefully, they'd be saved, and hopefully I'm even saved. And
God would be eternally frustrated.
Yes.
He would be
He's so
dang it! Come on! That's not how God works.
Right.
It never
We would all be frustrating God constantly.
Yeah.
In the sense that He's always angry.
He desires
trying
to save people, but
right, but
no,
he can't.
But
He can't do it, and we're not being good enough to do it for other people.
I can't imagine the kind of pressure that would put on someone's mind and heart to believe that. Because I know people who do, where it's just everything that I am saying is the only thing that will
Right.
I have to convince this person, because if I don't, then they
That's
can't
what
be
I
saved when they could have.
That's what really held me back a lot. Was I don't want to say the wrong words. I don't want to
Right.
goof up and just tell them the wrong thing or whatever, you know. But
and that should be a legitimate concern of ours, but that should never stray us away from trying to
All we have
win
to
I
do
was
people and preach the
focused on
gospel.
if my words don't line up
Right.
to what God wants, then if my words don't line up, then it's not going to work. that's what I was focused on instead of just the gospel. I know the core gospel, like that's, and we've studied more, we've researched more, I know more, and I feel more comfortable, like just, even though in situations I'd be like, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, and that's okay, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our job is to preach faithfully and leave the rest to God.
And another thing, I don't remember where I got this one from, if it was the last one or not, but the focus should be, oh, I think I got it when we were talking about Jonah. So, much earlier, I just kept thinking of like, we always try to get people to like come to church, or I mean, even just like, we try to get them to do good Christian things, right? We try to get them to align with Christians politically. We try to get Christians to align with prayer and abortion and gay marriage and all of those things. We try to do that first, hoping that that'll convince them to be saved.
Right.
When in all reality, and that aligns with inviting non-Christians to church.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing is you're teaching them all of these good things.
You're symptom treating. is what
Yeah,
you're
you're
doing.
symptom treating. So if the analogy is a car, they have a broken car, right? There's the broken motor, broken engine. Like they have a non-working car, and we're trying to fill up the car with gas.
Yeah.
So that maybe later it'll help them later
Yeah.
if they have a running car. Like coming to church and
But we
learning
never
about
help them
God.
get a running car.
Right. We never help them get a running car. They still have a broken engine. And or they have just, if we're total depravity, they don't have an engine, right? And so
They have
we're
a car
filling
frame
up
that's
a
horrible.
car that doesn't even have an engine.
It's an empty
it
car.
can't work. It can't do anything for them. It might do something for them later. They'll be like, oh, I learned about that.
Analogy. It's like having the engines on the plane but no wings. Yeah. You can't fly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't fly. You might crash and burn pretty hard.
Yeah.
Might be a sight to see.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. There's another thing that I was gonna say that I can't remember now. Maybe I already said it. But yeah, that has been got to think of a tagline for this.
Well, I mean, Christian thoughts.
No, but
I
like
don't know.
it's like a podcast now. So
Oh, G3 breakdown, G3.
G3 breakdown. That is a
G3 breakdown.
G3 breakdown.
G3
that was another.
breakdown.
That was another G3 breakdown. from us here.
Just the first one.
Yeah.